Hi friends, this is Sarojam here. Welcome to my networking channel. Hope all are doing good and safe. And today let us discuss about EIGRP auto summarization, which summarizes all the networks by default to its classful boundary. So benefit of summarization, we can reduce the size of the routing table. Instead of sending the entire network to the remote network, so I can reduce the size of the routing table. I can summarize all the network and I can send as a single summary route to the remote network. So that is the main purpose of auto summarization. So also we can reduce the query range by auto summarization. So I'm going to show how to do that. So this is an architecture where I connected R1, R2, and R1 has three different networks: 172.16, 1.0 and 2.0 and 192 series, right? So what happened whenever R1 summarizes all this network and it will send a single summary route to R2. So R2 only contains a summary route in the default routing table, right? So in case of a single network outage, assume this network is down, it will immediately send a query to R2. Since R2 contains only the summary route, what happened? It will not extend the query further. So that is the benefit of summarization. When I'm summarizing, it will reduce the size of the routing table and also we can reduce the query range. In that way, we can save the CPU and memory of the router, right? So now let us go ahead and configure the routing protocol EIGRP on R1 R2 and then let us enable the auto summarization. So now let us go to the configuration, go to R1 and let us configure the individual routing protocol, right? Show IP. I have defined the interfaces. So there are three different networks, right? 192 series and 116 1 series and 116 2.0. So let us define the network router EIGRP 100 and let us define the network statement, that is 192.168.1.0 and let us define the network as 172.16.0.0, right? So by default the auto summary is enabled. So now it's already auto summary is enabled. So now let us go to R2. So R2 has one network, right? Go to router EIGRP 100 and it has one network, that is 192 series, right? 192.168.1.0. So let us configure that. Network is 192.168.1.0. So I already defined the network and this both the routers are already configured. R4 I have defined this network in EIGRP and also I have defined this network in R3 also. So let us go to R4. So R4, let us view the configuration. 170 already defined, in R3 also I have defined it. Show run. So already defined, right? So now what we can do, let us go to R1 and let us see the auto summarization feature. Let us go to R1, show run, include summary. So already auto summary is enabled by default. So now what we can do, now we can do a shut and no shut of this interface. Like we can specifically shut down the any network and let us see how it works. So what we can do, let us go to the configuration mode and interface fast Ethernet 1/0. Let us shut this. So now what we can do, let us do a debug EIGRP packets query. So there are different packets, so I want to debug the query packets. Similarly, go to R2, that is R2 in the privilege mode, debug EIGRP packets query. So I enable the query packets on both R1 and R2. So now let us go ahead and activate the interface, right? 1/0. I'm going to shut and no shut. I want to check what is the query it is sending. So go to the configuration mode, interface faster than it 1/0. Let us do a no shut again. So now I'm going to shut the interface. What happened? Since already I told R2 contains only the summary route, right? Already it is doing auto summarization and R2 contains a summary route in the routing table. Let us view the routing table. So it contains a summary route, right? This is a summary route, and now let us do a shut of this specific interface, that is faster than at 1/0. So go to configuration mode, faster than 1/2 and do a no shut. Sorry, shut down the interface. So what happened? You are able to see, right? Immediately it will send a query to R2, right? It is sending the query to R2, but R2 is not receiving. R2 is receiving the query, but it is not extending the query further to R1. Why? Because R1 already sends a summary route, right? It is not sending individual route. It contains it already done a auto summarization and sends a summary route to R2. Since R2 contains only the summary route in the routing table, a single network outage, R2 will not extend the query further to R1. So you're able to see it is only sending the query, but it is not receiving the query, right? You are able to see R2, it will receive the query and R2 will not extend the query further to R1 because R2 contains only the summary route. So a single network outage, R2 will not extend the query further because R2 already will tell the router that it contains only the summary route. So it will not going to extend any query further to R1. So that is the reason it's only receiving the query and it is not sending the query further to R1. So that is the benefit of summarization. So in this way, we can reduce the query range, right? So now what we can do, let us now do a no auto summarization. I'm going to disable the auto summarization and immediately you can see the query, the R1 will receive the query. So now R1 is only sending the query. So once I disable the auto summarization, it will receive the query. Let us see. Configuration mode and router EIGRP 100, no auto summary. So after doing immediately what happen, you will be able to receive the query because once you are doing the auto summarization, what happen, it will have the individual networks, right? It will contain all the network like 172.1.0, 2.0. So a single network outage, it will send a query and R2 will again send a query to R1. So this is with disabled auto summarization. With summarization, it will reduce the query range. So R2 will not further extend the query to R1. So that is the benefit. So let us see the summary table now. Show IP route. So now it will have the individual network in its routing table because I have disabled the auto summarization. So a single network outage, it will send the query and R2 will again send the query to R1. So that is the reason R1 is receiving the query in case of disabling auto summarization. But when the auto summarization is enabled, it will send only the summary route and R2 will contain the summary route and it will not extend the query further to R1. So that is the benefit of auto summarization. I hope you understand. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe me for more videos. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.